Hi everyone, this is Scott Swanay with Fantasy Baseball Sherpa, and I'm here today with a fantasy baseball preview of the 2012 Arizona Diamondbacks offense for fantasy purposes. The Diamondbacks, I think, are going to be a 500 team this year, which isn't as good as a lot of pundits predict. I think they're going to be battling it out at the bottom of the division with San Diego and Los Angeles, while Colorado and San Francisco battle each other for the division title. Their problem, Arizona's main problem, is that they're pretty mediocre, both hitting wise and pitching wise. Pitching wise, they've got a good three starting pitchers, but not much depth beyond that. And what kills them on offense is that they've got a bunch of sub 250 hitters. They've actually got three sub 250 hitters in their everyday lineup. It's really tough to be a contending team when you've got that working against you out of the gate. So let's start off with mixed leagues. The first Diamondback you're going to want to consider for your team is outfielder Justin Upton. He's one of the game's stars, and he's somebody that you can count on for 25 to 30 home runs, about 85 runs batted in, and a 285 average. Next, we've got first baseman Paul Goldschmidt, who I think could easily be the second best first baseman in the National League behind Joey Votto, now that Prince Fielder and Albert Pujols have departed for the greener pastures of the American League. Look at Goldschmidt as a guy that could give you 30 home runs, 100 runs batted in while hitting 270. Next, we've got catcher Miguel Montero. He's one of the few catchers that will actually give you a decent average and hit for power. He's going to hit probably 15 to 20 home runs, drive in 75 runs while he does that, all with a 280 batting average. So he's one of the best catchers to get on draft day. Next, we've got Chris Young. He's always a darling of the fantasy community. I'm just not one of his fans. Yes, he'll hit 20 home runs and steal 20 bases, but that's going to come with a batting average that's probably going to kill almost all of his fantasy value. So, I would look for a 240 average from him. If he could ever get that up to 270, 280, he'd be fantasy gold, but I just don't see that happening this year or in any other year. Next, we've got third baseman Ryan Roberts. He's a mixed infielder. He's a middle infielder in mixed leagues. He's also got third base eligibility. So he's somebody that's probably going to regress from his career year last season, but he's probably still good for 15 homers, 15 stolen bases, and a 250 average. So that's not bad for a middle infielder in a mixed league. Next, we've got left fielder Jason Kubel. He should be a starting outfielder in NL-only leagues. His problem his whole career has been staying healthy, and he got to play on grass his final season in Minnesota, and now he gets to do so again for Arizona. And if he can stay healthy and play 130 games, he's somebody that could hit 20 home runs with 85 runs batted in and a 270 average. Next, we've got shortstop Stephen Drew. He's somebody that you could start at shortstop in an NL-only league. Great things were expected of him earlier in his career, but obviously he had that terrible injury last year and is just really slow to recover. Consider yourself lucky if you get 120 games out of him this season. If you do, he'll probably hit 10 home runs and maybe steal 5 to 10 bases, but his average probably won't be much above 260. And also for National League only middle infielder, we can take a look at Aaron Hill. Again, another guy who had a career year a couple seasons ago and hit a lot of home runs with a decent average, but just fell off the table again as far as the batting average goes, and with that, the power went down some too. Look for him to bounce back a little bit this year, but again, I don't see him hitting much above 240, and even if he hits 15 home runs and steals 10 bases, that still leaves him with not much fantasy value. And finally, for an NL-only bench, Gerardo Parra is somebody to consider as an extra outfielder in a deep league. Again, with Kubel there, he's probably not going to get a lot of playing time this year unless Kubel gets hurt. But still, he is somebody that has some speed and some power if he were to play regularly. And finally, if you're in a two-catcher NL-only league, Henry Blanco is probably one of the better 30-game catchers to get. He offers some power and 240, 250 average. You can't really ask for much more out of a second catcher in an NL-only league. So for customizable projections and player rankings for over 700 players, be sure to check us out on fantasybaseballsherpa.com and also follow us on Twitter at fantasy_Sherpa. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back with you next time.